What is up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Darkest Dungeon. My name is Splattercat. Happy to have you here as we hang out for a little while and have 20,000 gold. We just hang out and have 20,000 gold. See, I'm not the kind of person that would resign myself to just taking this place back. I'd probably dungeon dive until I had enough money to live the rest of my life, and I just bail out. I'm like, nope, that area can stay cursed, and then we'll just sell the real estate later on. Once maybe society's advanced to having laser cannons, and also at the point where we don't believe in witchcraft and whatnot anymore. It would help tremendously not to have superstition against our side. Also, flashlights would be helpful, so maybe we'll come back once we have those. Rose has hit level 2, although unfortunately I don't think I've unlocked this enough yet. Yeah, I need 15 portraits. That sounds like we'll probably have to go back out into the Warrens then. Ooh, we got a medium mission. We must eat. 25 stress damage if torch above 75, 10 accuracy if torch. That's pretty good for people like me who don't really do a ton of super dark runs. I do them every now and again, but usually with throwaway parties. Really? Wow. Last time I think we had all lepers and all men-at-arms too. I think we had like an occultist in there last time though or something. We've got a ton of crests that we should just kind of get rid of here. I'll probably go in on that. It's not much. I don't usually move skills around too much, just because it's an odd thing to spend money on. There are some good things in here. I do think that Chant is really, really good in certain parties. I think that Pray can be really, really solid in certain parties. I think just about everybody should run Encourage, but it's tough to tell what you're going to need on any given run. Sometimes things don't go the way you want them to. This place is looking really, really nice and upgraded. I'll probably take these busts in and see if we can make the place look a little bit nicer. It appears as though the shingling on the roof is still covered mostly with boards. I can't imagine that patch job right there is doing a tremendous amount of work towards keeping water out of the building. But hey, what do I know about roofing and stuff? I only did it for a while. Inside the guild, we can't really upgrade anything else, although we do need to upgrade both of these gents, if only to upgrade their melee attacks, like so. Retribution, if we could get plus 5% damage when riposte. So it looks like he does start to get bonuses that offset it, which means by the end of the game he could conceivably be around 50% damage, which is what I suggested in the previous episode. I don't know what it is about chain coifs. I think it actually, what it more has to do with is the fact that I just like hoodies, and so chain coifs are like the super metal version of hoodies. And I mean that both in a punny way and also like musically, like yeah, metal, you know. I think that it's a pretty metal thing to do, to wear a hood made out of chainmail links. It's pretty dope. I think, what should we do next? Well, the Wizened Hag is a pretty good call. We got the Berserk Mask, which puts his crit at 3%. However, I don't know if I like the Berserk Mask all that much. Quickening Satchel. Did I ever put that on Rose? Where's she at? Oh. And that one's like flat. Like that's just bonuses, and that's all that it is. It's just bonuses on top of bonuses. That's one of those items you definitely want to... Okay, it's not going to change the outcome of a combat. It's a pretty average item, but still. We got Fleshy over here. I gotta give these guys some names. This guy is now the Mallet. There we go. And when you're a hammer, all you see is nails. Everybody else, I think, is pretty much taken care of. I don't think there's too many more people that need to be renamed. Let's decide what we want to do with our adventures today. I think it's a smart idea. I don't know if I want to do a boss pull today or if I want to level up. Let's see what we can do with Swine. Or I'm sorry, we'll see what we can do with the Hag. I think she's a smart idea right now. Nominal, you're looking absolutely fantastic, so of course we're going to bring you along. The question for me becomes, who do we put in the second slot? Callie will be of limited use because of the pot mechanic. If you've never done the hag before, basically she puts people inside of a cook pot until they run out of health. And so you need to be able to hit the back line consistently if you want it to work out. In fact, I think probably what would be one of the most safe ways to run this would be something like this right here. It's a little overly offensive, and it may backfire on me. But at the end of the day, I think this group will more than likely do substantial damage to the hag. It shouldn't be too troublesome for them to get the job done. What I will do before we run it out there, though, is I'm going to go through, and I know that's not going to be upgradable, but what I would like is for everybody that can have the upgrades to have the upgrades to their weaponry. I'm a big proponent of upgrading weaponry in this game. I do think that it's a fantastic idea, and I tend to upgrade equipment before most other things. Upgrading skills is important too, but never underestimate what an extra 5% dodge, what an extra 10 HP, and all those sort of things can do for you. Looking a little bit nicer. She's got a fine-ass jacket. Alright, so they're good to go now. We spent a solid chunk of cash, but I think it'll be worth it. All things considered, this could go really, really wrong. There's no guarantee during this run that things are going to go perfectly for us. Since this is a boss pull, I'm going to pack a little bit heavily just in case things do go wrong, so that I have options in front of me for messing with stuff. And a little bit of holy water right there. I know I'm packing a lot of things right now. I might get rid of the holy water. Yeah, let's just bring 2 of each. I'm going to try and save a little bit of money. The keys, however, since they unlock treasure, I usually like to keep more of the keys just in case. I think we're good. Let's go ahead and see if we can't...
I had collected many rare and elusive volumes on ancient herbal properties, and was set to enjoy several weeks immersed in comfortable study. My work was interrupted, however, by a singularly striking young woman who insisted on repeated calls to the house.
I think striking is definitely a word for her. How long ago was this?
There is method in the wild corruption here. It bears a form both wretched and malevolent.
Wow. Straight off the bat, we got problems. Straight off the bat, we have problems. However, this is recoverable. The nice thing about this group is that we have so many people that can do a lot of different things from a lot of different locations that we should be alright. Took a blanket fire right in the beginning. That should be cool. We've got plenty of ways to get out of the way of that. Uppercut slice, he's going to get out of the way. And so the enemy has mostly squandered their advantage. Slice and dice goes up. Slice and dice gonna miss. Go ahead and throw out that AoE. It is one of my favorite ones in the entire game. That leaves us with Dismas, who's in a fantastic position to really have an awesome shot there and then not do it. So never mind then. We didn't get what we wanted out. That's cool. Sometimes that's the way life goes. Dismas, you want to get him this time? Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I would very much like to get her back into a position. Actually, she's in a position right now where she can AoE people. That's what I was looking for. That's all that I wanted. All that I want is to AoE, yeah. It's face it tingly, boy. I think that healing is always going to be itchy. That's the people asked me one time in a Q&A video. They were like, so what do you think being healed magically would feel like? Like, I bet it itches really, really badly, because those times where I've got like a serious thing on my body that's healing, like a big rash, or you've got like a giant gash or cut or whatever, or for example, take a tattoo.
The path is clear.
Tattoos can be incredibly itchy, especially if they use a lot of shading and stuff like that. Even if you're using lotion on them and everything else every day, anytime you have something that's healing very, very rapidly, but simultaneously shedding and doing all that kind of stuff, it seems like it would itch a lot all of a sudden. It'd be kind of scratchy. I should have fixed her position in the line, but it's cool. It's cool. 18 damage right there. Let's go ahead and fix our positioning right now. I don't think... Ooh.
Unbalanced.
Okay. That is definitely what a hit looks like. That is definitely what a hit looks like. That's what my hit looks like. You crit me. I crit you. I keep shooting. I think he just made him mad. They're done being whipped today. They don't want to play that game anymore. I'd stop messing around. I'd be like, alright, you win. Can I come work for you? Typically, that was actually the way that you got brigandry under control in medieval times and also in like Renaissance times and whatnot, is typically you would just cut the bandits in on law enforcement, or you cut the bandits in as like bounty hunters for the area, or you would cut the bandits in one way or another because it was so difficult to hunt people back in those days. It was a pain in the ass chasing around the forest all the time that sometimes it was just easier to offer a bribe. Someone left valuables inside here, man. It's going to be one of those runs where they give me just all the treasure I could have ever wanted. That's cool. I derive pleasure from treasure, so I will collect it at my leisure. I will probably... That's not what I need. I think that's what I need. Some valuables inside the tree, and we are already full up. Well, you know what? I'm going to get rid of that holy water then, and we'll stack up that onyx. Onyx is one of my favorite Pokemon. I talk about this every single time I play the game. Onyx is the shit. Those first gens. There's something about the first gens. I'm not a Gen 1er. I'm not one of those people, although I do think that's sort of a pejorative term. It comes kind of loaded. I do think, however, their design was better because they had infinite leg room. I'm guessing that the lady's going to be over here. I think they had infinite leg room to create creatures when they first started. The longer your intellectual property goes on with something like that, the harder it is to come up with new ideas because you've already put yourself in a corner. You're like, well, we already have a giant snake that's made out of rock. We've already got a chinchilla that shoots lightning. Like, where do we go from here, you know? 5 out right there. You want to make sure that when you do the hag, at least I like to make sure I have somebody with an AoE. So this is one of the few fights that I actually, oof, big hit right there. This is one of the few fights that I prefer having the Vestal versus having the Occultist. I do think the Occultist is the superior healer, 100%. In fact, I think there's very little contest between the Vestal and the Occultist anymore. I think that with some of the buffs that the Occultist has gotten, he's become just a monster of a character. It's fairly routine for my Vestal in my late game, where I think I'm on week 60 or 70 or something like that. It's fairly common for my Occultist to crit for like 40, 45 healing with one cast. It happens a lot once you've got him geared out. And so you're actually able, ooh, 26 crit right there, man. They want it. We want it. I think it's safe to say everybody wants it. But I do prefer the Occultist as a healer. I feel like his utility mixed with the fact that he can move the enemy lines around, he can heal, he can also deal a stupid amount of AoE damage if you buff up the Abyssal Bombardment or whatever, Abyssal Artillery.
Success so clearly in view.
There are some fun little things you can do with him as a character. I'm going to go ahead and play that right there. We'll start working a little bit of this food. I don't need it a ton, but it's something. Nothing must be left unopened. I think she's actually a pack rat or something like that, which means every time we walk past something lootable, she's going to get after it. She's not going to be able to resist. Through the sewer grate we go. It's a little rusty. I think a sewer grate might be an overestimation of its niceness. I would just call it like a sewer fine, or like a sewer functional. Not a sewer bad, obviously, but here we got to watch out for rabies with Rabid Rush. That's always the fun part about fighting with these dogs. I think they only make the disease check about 25% of the time, but when you're soaking 4 attacks per turn, you get my point here. It's that eventually it's going to be you. She needs a heal for herself. Actually, everybody needs a heal. Let's throw out a heal for everybody. Got a big crit right there, too, which will help out with our stress. I'm going to focus on AoEs here. All these dogs are kind of... Did you not AoE? All these dogs are kind of soft. They can't take a lot of damage, so AoEing tends to be pretty effective versus them. There we go. Got another kill out. Those two are still hanging in there. They're going to get their turn now. These are very, very fast mobs. They're also very, very dodgy mobs, which means that if you can dodge a dog, you can dodge a ball. Whatever joke you want to make here, you might get dodged back to back to back to back. It happens every now and again. Don't get discouraged by it. I've been dodged a lot of times up against those. We got another key out.
Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Got that right there. The jade is not that important to me. It's only 250 gold. We've already got 4,500 with us, so why get greedy? You feel me? Why get greedy? I do think this run is going to make pretty quick work of the hag. I don't think she's going to be much of a challenge. Actually, I take that back. Sometimes I think it's going to be a cakewalk, and then it ends up just being a nightmare because things go wrong at the outset, like she surprises you or something like that. And while normally I like surprises from matronly-like women, i.e. my grandmama, sometimes surprises are not so fun. Are they surprised? Go ahead and heal yourself up here. I want to go into the last fight in really good solid shape too. There's a double kill. A double crit hit, well, a single crit hit, and there's the dodge. Even surprised he managed to get the attack, or managed to get the evasion off. It's cool. I expect most of my attacks to fail when I go up against these dogs. It's always good to like tailor your expectations when you play this game so that you don't get mad and get hella salty about stuff that happens. I tend to assume that just about everything I'm going to do fails. The only time that it tends to stress me out is when I really needed something clutch to go through, and then it doesn't. Map. Okay, that's cool. Got a treasure room up next too. Light that torch. Looks like we got FOMO doggies. That's not too terrible. Double dodge right there. I've always wondered with AoEs if it's a single dodge check that they make to dodge both of them or like how that goes through. She now has rabies, which is really unfortunate.
Ringing ears, blurred vision. The end approaches.
It really doesn't. I hate the narrator in this game. He's the worst. Like, it would be okay if the things that he says ever are applicable to what's actually happening on screen. But for me, it's just like the dissonance of he says stuff that is not happening. He'd be like, "You're about to lose everything." And everybody's at full health and like perfect stress. And you're just like, okay. Just one crit, man. It was a crit for 3 damage. I don't know. Didn't seem that terrible to me, but I guess it's kind of like you get mad when people are like, "Why are you so mad, though?" Like, you're not mad, but people say you're mad, so it just makes you madder. I hate that shit, too. And that's like internet trolling 101. Something deeply psychological about somebody telling you not to be mad when you're not mad. It's just, like, irritating.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
But yeah, the narrator, he repeats what he says too much, too. That would be the other half of it that I'm just like, meh. He needs more lines. You think with all the money they made off this game, they could probably just throw in another recording session, give him another, like, 50 or 60 things to say. I don't know.
Nature herself.
See, my problem is that I'm actually privy to how much... I know indie developers can't lie to me. I know how much money you make. I know how much money indie developers make, and they can't lie to me. I should have saved that anti-venom. Hindsight being 20/20 and all. Like, I know indie developers are always like, "Oh, but we're on a shoestring budget." They like to play that heartstrings card a lot. And true, some are, but if you're like Red Hook, you've made so much money off this game that it's utterly absurd. I can promise you that. The other problem is that utterly absurd is kind of not an objective term. It's a little bit subjective. An utterly absurd amount of money to one person might not be that much money to somebody else. And so it can be this sort of vacuous term that's difficult to get. I don't know if vacuous is the word that I want. Inchoate term there. That's the word that I wanted. You gotta have an inchoate term where it's difficult to lock in. Let's go ahead and take that right there. And was the next room a battle room, or are we good here? Dude, there's a new Digimon game. How come nobody told me there was a new Digimon game? I was actually kind of upset. I went, nobody told me. I was upset at the universe. I went to Best Buy the other day. I was just walking through, and they had like an anime section, like next to their gaming section where they had all anime-related games. And I'm not normally a big fan of anime, and so I started going through it. Back on point anyway. Sorry about that. Interruptions. The name of the game and the story of my life here on YouTube. So I'm not really into anime, but I'm open-minded about it. Every now and again I go through like anime racks and stuff like that just to see if there's anything that looks awesome. And I noticed there was a new Digimon game, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I haven't played Digimon since like PlayStation. What's going on here? This is pretty amazing. How come nobody told me? And so I'm thinking I'm going to play some Digimon tonight. I'm like 80% sure that tonight I'm going back to... No! That wasn't... I didn't mean to. I'm like 80% sure tonight that I'm going back and I'm going to make a Gabumon. Because that's all that I want. I just want to hang out with Gabumon again and have some adventures. It's Gabumon time! Make a Gabu montage. It'll be Gabu monumental. Gabu monstrish. I don't know. Riding a Gabu monorail. I can brand everything. I could brand just about anything for Digimon. I like Digimon a lot. Digimon, I was kind of getting older by the time Digimon came out, and so that was on the back end of my Pokemon interest too. And so I think I mostly wrote off Digimon for a long time. And then on a whim one time, I borrowed the PlayStation game from a buddy of mine, just because I didn't have anything to do that week. And I was like, yeah, can I borrow this? I saw it, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember Digimon. Let me check this out. And the PlayStation game turned out to be a lot of fun. It really kind of surprised me. And ever since then, I have been a consumer of Digimon-related products if I can get them. Had I known that a Digimon game was coming out, I would have been waiting in line for it. It's pretty exciting stuff for me. This is the kind of thing that brightens my week. And so I'm thinking I may have to get my Digimon on. Man, you got double dodge, dude. There, she's going to take care of it. Always trust in Rose. Rose will get it done when everybody else is being completely and totally inept. No, you've been groped again. Why? The groping is real. I should have stayed on top of healing. I shouldn't have thrown out that lightning bolt in the last turn. There's a kill. And since we're almost at the boss, we probably want to take this a little slower. These guys have high protection. Normally you want to stack bleeds on them. I think they have pretty good blight resist too. Just in case you were wondering how to handle them, their physical resist is good. Everything is pretty good for them. Except for, no, not 1. Get a 3. I mean, granted, I'm gambling on really bad premises here, but...
A trifling victory.
But a victory nonetheless. There's my torch. I'll probably take the crests and then we'll leave the citrines. I could have used that to consecrate the fountain. I did something dumb. Yeah. It won't be the last time. That's fine. Search the crate. Go forth. Look upon the cube of holding and find that inside of it there are things that we desire. Perfecto. And then this won't be the boss room, but the next one should be. And actually, it's a little bit darker than I expected in here. I think I underpacked torches. Oh, there's one right there. That's actually perfect. That's exactly what I would have desired. If you said to me, Splattercat, what kind of loot would put a big old smile on your face like you just got a bowl of ice cream? I'd be like, I think it sounds pretty awesome if I get a torch. And that's exactly the way it would have gone down. Another dead lady with a knife in her. You don't want to mess around in this hood, not when Rose is on patrol. It get ugly for anybody that comes across her path. You can practically hear just bum bum, bum bum, bum 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 in the background whenever she comes in the forest. There's a kill, and it allowed us to redistribute a little bit of damage to the front party as well. Not so much of a party anymore now that he's dead, so I guess you can say that party was dead. Still, or is dead, or is on its way to being dead. Perfect.
They can be beaten.
Get rid of the shuvels, and in we go. Time for the hag.
Twisted and maniacal. A slathering testament to the powers of corruption.
So the hag is not actually that bad, just as long as you've got people that can reach her in the back row. She dodged into the pot? I didn't know you could dodge into the pot. I've never seen that happen before. So the basic mechanic is, for anybody that might need help here, the basic mechanic is that she throws somebody into the pot, that person loses health. Once they're on death's door, they fall out of the pot. You can choose to break the pot if you want to get them out, but she'll just put somebody back into it. And so I find that it's actually a lot easier just to focus on her and ignore the pot, and then when somebody comes out of the pot, you sort of just hope that healing's ready to go. He's not going to have a lot that he can do here. Maybe I'll mark him as a target and throw him into the pot. Maybe she'll go after him, I don't know. We'll see what happens here. We're having a pretty good run so far, though. This is about as well as this fight can go. There are not a whole lot of major apostrophes and periods and punctuation that we could have changed around in order to make this more satisfying. He's in the pot, and so you can see him right there with weird little jublets and things falling off of his fingers. I'll probably knock him out right here, because why not? I'm going to catch a meat tenderizer right there. Granted, those meat tenderizers would be problematic had we been catching them at any other time, but I think we'll be good. So that knife might be the last hit. Just kind of depends on who you got here. I may scoot him back by 1. Oh yeah, when they get spit out, they're always going to be in the front line. In case you were wondering about the specificity of that situation too, so it does rearrange your line a little bit. I don't want to be eaten. You just throw a frog's leg at me? I mean, thank you for the expensive fancy dinner. Look, she's got a meat hawk. She's got like a pork chop on her belt. Doesn't seem like the safest place to keep a pork chop. Maybe put it in some kind of refrigeration or something. She also punishes you whenever you take somebody out of the pot, so in general, it seems like it's a bad idea. And there's the kill.
Still poisoned. The way is still blocked, but less people will be eaten.
Perfect. Apparently she's been eating people out in the forest. In the forest!
Brought low and driven into the mud.
Ooh, we got the survival guide though too. I think I'd rather have her have the survival guide than the stunning satchel. The survival guide's really, really good. I think I would definitely rather have that. And then at this point, we'll probably just camp and get the hell on out of here. I don't think we'll stick around for too much longer. I'm going to grab that because it's worth more. We're going to continue adventuring. The goal for now is to camp. We'll use up the remainder of our food. This will also give us an opportunity to get rid of stress. You should never leave a dungeon without at least trying to fix your stress. We're going to go with Sanctuary. I don't think he can use that on himself. We can do Zealous Speech, though. There we go. That'll do it. That'll help out a little bit with the stress. And then I just want to make sure we don't get attacked. We basically accomplished the things that I wanted to accomplish here. Could pilfer a supply item, I guess, if we're feeling particularly handsy. Perfect. Yay! Let's not get attacked. Out of the dungeon we go. Got ourselves a nice little mask for our leper. I don't know if I'll run it just yet. It's an okay item, don't get me wrong, but it does come with some pretty serious downsides. Or the downsides, not downsizing, this is not a company thing. I do think it's troublesome that the heals reduced is in there. If it was more damage taken or something like that, I think I'd be okay with it, but healing reduction is something that I tend to rely on pretty heavily. That put Dizzy D up over the line. He's the first person to be ready for medium runs. She got syphilis somehow in the dungeon. Apparently whatever's inside that pot was a bit more caustic than we thought. At least don't rub your jubbly bits all over it. Definitely don't be giving it no clam kisses. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Darkest Dungeon. That was the Hag. I'll see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.